first one, where we invite the Guru's presence. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Eva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhu Cha Shakha Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om. It is said that in our, not said, in our line of gurus, Mahavatar Babaji is the Supreme Master, and he is he carries the energy of Hari, of Narayan, in a physical form on the planet. So we'll start with calling out to that energy which sustains, which grows, which nurtures. This first chant, Om Namo Narayan. Please sing along. Om Namo Narayana. 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 Om Namo Narayan. 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 Om Om Namo Narayan. Narayan. Om Namo 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 Narayan. Narayan. Just for a few moments, sitting straight, closing our eyes, and just allowing these vibrations, this energy that we've invited to just flow through us. Feeling this silence and yet resounding with the vibrations of this chant.
So usually with What we've seen with many years of experience is that when we chant together over and over again, it creates a very joyful, uplifting surge of energy in our heart. So I would really like to invite everybody, especially the new people as well, to try and join us in the chanting. The lyrics of this chant are: Lord, I am thine, be thou mine, I am thine. And then we'll sing a few verses in Hindi, which is: प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा हो जाओ मेरे, प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा, मैं तुम्हारा. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा, तुम्हारा. हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे. तुम्हारा Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, हो जाओ मेरे, प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा तुम्हारा. I am thine, I am thine. प्रभु मैं तुम्हारा तुम्हारा. Let us completely surrender to that higher power which is latent within each one of us and experience as much as we can that calmness which is being awakened.
All of us want to feel lighter. We all must have looked at birds. जब पंछी उड़ते हैं इतना अच्छा लगता है देख के. If only we could also have wings and just fly and soar. And even though we can't feel that breeze, but when we are sitting in an aeroplane, that's one of the joys. बस नीचे देखो and just feel the freedom. So the next chant is, especially if we sing along, we can feel this freedom. इस चैंट चैंट का मतलब भजन. इस भजन के बोल हैं, नथिंग ऑन अर्थ कैन होल्ड मी, राइज ओ माई सोल इन फ्रीडम. इसको जब हम लोग सिंग करेंगे तब दो काम करना है. एक, साथ में सिंग करना है. दूसरा, फील करना है दैट फ्रीडम, which this chant has the power that if we actually allow ourselves to feel it, it can actually help us feel that lightness, that soaring feeling. So let's do that. And in some ways, it summarizes the path of Kriya Yoga, becoming lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, oh my soul in freedom, nothing to fear anymore. Rise, oh my soul in freedom, nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, oh my soul in freedom. Again, sitting straight, holding the silence, and continuing to feel that lightness, that joy that comes with that lightness.
Just testing one quickly. I'm not sure if it's on, even if you can hear me. Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday and also happy Women's Day to all of you. My name is Mitesh, and on behalf of Ananda Sangam Mumbai, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to this morning's talk on the transforming power of Kriya Yoga. Uh, just to get a sense, I can see some new faces in the room. It will be very helpful for me to know by a show of hands to see how many of you are coming to Ananda for the first time. Okay, great. So maybe about a dozen people or more. As you can see behind me, there is a picture on the altar. How many of the new people recognize who that person is, who that master is? Yes? I think maybe I can hear you saying Yogananda. Yes, yes, that's right. So, as many of you would also be knowing that he wrote this great spiritual classic called The Autobiography of a Yogi. And again, how many of the new people here have read this book before? All right. So, those who've read the book, you will have an idea that Paramahansa Yogananda ji, in that book, introduced the science of Kriya Yoga to millions of spiritual seekers worldwide. And we also have Swami Kriyananda's picture here at the altar. Swami Kriyananda was a direct disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda, and in 1969 he established Ananda Sangha worldwide to really disseminate and share the teachings of Kriya Yoga as he himself had learned from his guru Yogananda ji. And since then, since 1969, Ananda is now spread in many countries throughout the world, having many communities, centers, and meditation groups. And we represent the local chapter here in Mumbai, and we've been here since the last 15 years or so doing the same thing, sharing the teachings as much as we can. Now, today we have the blessing and the fortune to have two very special guests, the keynote speakers for the event, Naya Swami Devarshi and Brahmachari Vasudev. So, I would request all of you to please stand up and join me in welcoming them on stage. Let's be seated. Thank you. Nayaswami Devarshi ji is indeed a great inspiration for all of us at Ananda. He has been practicing that science, that technique of Kriya Yoga every single day for the last 49 years. So truly, we could not have had anyone better to take this talk on Kriya Yoga. He is also a Kriyacharya, authorized to give Kriya Diksha to any sincere seeker out there. He is the global head of the Ananda Kriya Ministry worldwide, and he also heads the work of the Ananda Monastery in India, which is based in Chandigarh. And most importantly, Nayaswami Devarshiji has written this great book called Kriya Yoga, Spiritual Awakening for the New Age, in which he shares how the principles of Kriya Yoga can really be very practically applied in our day-to-day life. So thank you, Devarshiji, once again for joining us here in Mumbai today. I'd also like to welcome Brahmachari Vasudev, who has also been serving his guru's work, Paramhansa Yogananda's work, in India for the last 12 years. A chartered accountant by profession, he left his corporate career in 2017 to serve the work full time. He is also a Kriyacharya and a meditation and a yoga teacher. Based in Pune, he works very closely with India's spiritual director in sharing the teachings of Yogananda throughout the country. So, without any further ado, I'd like to invite Vasudev first to please take the stage and share your thoughts on this important subject.
Okay, good morning, everybody. We are very awake and ready and active to get into the topic of the transforming power of Kriya Yoga. And I would like to thank Mitesh and also our chanting team to have started us on a very heart opening note. And as I was thinking about this topic on the transforming power of Kriya Yoga, the word power somehow stood out in my mind, and this story came to my mind from the life of Paramhans Yogananda ji. For those of you who have not read about his life or probably have read about him primarily through the autobiography of a yogi, in the autobiography of a yogi, Yogananda ji plays the role of a very humble disciple, a seeker, who, just like you and me, was trying to find the various questions we have in our lives. And so he doesn't play the role of he truly was, which his disciple Swami Kriyananda said he was a great avatar. And he was commissioned to share these teachings of Kriya Yoga in the West and throughout the world. So, anyways, Yogananda ji went to America in the year 1920, And he lectured throughout the country, throughout the country of America, giving lectures in different cities. And he was a very popular lecturer back in the day, because the sight of an Indian Swami back in 1920 teaching about yoga, well, you're meant to get popular. And some people were really interested, and some people were just curious, and out of curiosity they came to see this Indian Swami. So in one of the lectures, as he was standing, and this was in Boston, and he said, now I would like to, he was trying to show his strength to people, not as of showing off, but he wanted to show the power of these Indian teachings which he brought for the rest of the world. And he said, now why don't some people, if you would like, come and push me as hard as you can, and let's try my strength out. And he stood at the back of the wall, and he said, okay, who wants to really push me, and see if you can hold me tight over there. And to people's not expected result, six big Boston policemen got on stage, and they were ready to push Yogananda ji and his stomach on towards the wall. And just in case, I'll just put your imagination to mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm just sharing a story. It's a story. We are not going to have that test right now, but it's a very entertaining story to understand of the power which Yogananda ji brought into this world. So anyways, he stood at the back of the wall, and he told these policemen to really push on his stomach with their hands. And they really pushed and pushed, and he said, are you ready? And they were grinning, yes. And so he said, are you really ready? And they said, yes. And without any effort, he just arched his back, and all the policemen fell off the stage and went down on the orchestra pit, which was right in front of them. Wow. However, to clarify, today's talk is not going to be about outer power alone. Yes, he had tremendous power. Yes, the yogis have great power. They can change the universe in many ways. They can change the weather. For example, once Yogananda ji had invited a disciple of his to go out for a walk, or to go for a ride. And this disciple, he looked outside the window, and it was raining heavily. And he thought, well, why is Yogananda ji calling me out for a drive when it's such heavy rain? We can't even enjoy the drive at all. But then he thought, well, he's my guru. I'll listen to him. So he unwillingly put his jacket on, his cap on, and he walked down the few floors. And then, as soon as he stepped out, he looked, there was no rain, the ground was dry, the sun was out, and he was so confused what had happened. And Yogananda ji very lovingly looked at this devotee, and he said, his name was Oliver Black. And Yogananda ji said, for you, Oliver. That's such a sweet story. So, yes, such powers exist, but that is not why we are here for. We are going to be talking primarily about the inner power which Kriya Yoga has to offer to us. There are a lot of miracles in the autobiography of a yogi, and to me, it was like, but forget about miracles. I have a hard time even understanding why am I here in this life? What am I here for? Or I'm having a hard time even to be able to concentrate properly on one thing at a time. So, that is the power which we are going to be referring to today, the power to be able to concentrate on something, the power to be able to do something undistracted with a focused will, the power to be joyful at will, the power to be peaceful when we want to be peaceful. Now, that is real power, because once one of our acharyas, he was giving a lecture like this, and it wasn't about power, it was about just meditation. But this acharya of ours, he had practiced for nearly 40 plus years. And then at the end, there was question and answers, which there will be time for question and answers. And I'm answering your question before you may ask. He was asked the question, now, all this is good, but you've been practicing Kriya for nearly 40 plus years. Tell us the powers you have. Tell us the siddhis that you have achieved. And this teacher of ours, Kriyacharya, he paused for a moment and he said, well, I can't say if I have any powers. And the whole audience went, ah, well, waste of time. But then he said, however, I should say one thing. I have the power to be joyful at will. I may not exercise that power all the time, but I do have the power to be joyful and peaceful at all times at my will. And Kriya has the power to offer that to each one of us. And all these outer powers which I spoke about, which Yogananda ji had, they came from inner power and inner strength, and Kriya Yoga helps us develop that. How does Kriya even work? Is it some like magic wand, and then it's like we touch on you or something happens and then suddenly we have these powers? No, it is based on an ancient science. Kriya is a pranayam. And pranayam, often when we hear the word pranayam, we often associate it with breath control. However, let's go a step deeper than just breath control. Our yogis, rishis, saints of this country found that the breath is intimately connected with our mind and energy. So, pranayama is not just breath control, it is energy control. It is having perfect control over the energy of our body. In fact, when we refer to Kriya Yoga, yes, Kriya is a very specific technique which Yogananda ji spoke about. But at the same time, Kriya is also a complete path which comprises of many techniques which you learn from the very beginning when you start on the path of Kriya Yoga. One of the techniques which Yogananda ji taught on the path of Kriya Yoga is called the energization exercises. We are going to put something to test right now, which is our energy levels and our energy, whether we have any control at all whatsoever. However, I would like to say over here that for a moment, let's just sit up straight. Let's close our eyes and just gauge our energy on a scale from 0 to 10. I'll not be asking the score later. You just gauge and give yourself a score of how is my energy level. With 10 being you're very energetic, and 0 being, well, if it's 0, you wouldn't be in this room, so a little higher than that. Okay, let's open our eyes. Now we are going to do a fun experiment. If I may request all of you to just stand up where you are, and we are going to do just two simple exercises. These are called the super conscious living exercises. They are a subset of the energization exercises which Yogananda ji wrote. And we use affirmation, which is we use words with physical movements. Uh, I would request you all to be enthusiastic and cooperative as we move forward and not be unwilling, because this is the real experiment. If we are willing, then we'll be able to have a probably better score. So, the first exercise, you can leave your phone or any gadgets you may have aside on the chair. And the first exercise, we'll be walking in place and we'll be repeating the affirmation, I am awake and ready. So, let's do it together. I am awake and ready. I am awake and ready. I am awake and ready. Very good. I am awake and ready. I am awake and ready. I am awake and ready. I'm seeing some lips not moving. I am awake and ready. I am awake and ready. I am awake and ready. Okay, we'll take a pause. Next exercise, last exercise for now. I'll just demonstrate once and then we'll do it together. I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic. Shall we do it together? I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. Okay, I'm not seeing some feet go up the floor. They don't have to be on the floor. Let's do it together. I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. One last time. I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. Let's just close our eyes, stand still, and let's just feel how our energy is, how our state of mind is, how our awareness is. And let's give ourselves a score again of 0 to 10. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes and you can be seated. Now, I have a question for all of you. Was there any increase in your score? If yes, please raise your hands. Some hands are not raised. Okay, all hands are raised. Okay, excellent. So, energy being a very important component of the path on the path of Kriya Yoga, and with increase in energy, with increase in awareness, then we have the power to change life situations as well. Until we have the inner energy to change anything, we won't be able to change anything on the outside. Let's say a challenge comes in life, and I say, well, I'm tired, I don't know if I can do this, and this is too hard for me, and then we go into the complaining rut. What is life going to do? What is the challenge going to do? It is going to smack us down. However, if a challenge comes and we say, no, I can meet this test, I can meet this challenge, I can rise above it, then the challenge is not as hard as we might have perceived it to be. Let's get a little more realistic about it. Let's say, and we're going to go into another principle which Yogananda ji taught on the path of Kriya Yoga. Let's imagine you've had a very busy day today or yesterday, and then you're tired and you come back home and you're like, okay, I'll just Zomato something or Swiggy something. I'm not promoting anybody, either one is fine. And you eat and you go to bed without even doing your dishes. And the next day morning you wake up late, and just life happens, and the cab isn't booking you, you have one cancellation after the other, you rush to the office, you're a little late, you go about your daily business, you come back and you see the dirty dishes at home. Interesting. And what is the first response? Oh, I'm tired. Now, just when that thought goes into your mind, you get a call from a friend. And this friend, you haven't met him or her for the last 10 years. And then you're like, oh my goodness, this friend of mine is calling me. You receive the call, and the friend says, hey, I'm in Mumbai. Do you want to meet? Do you want to go out for a movie? Do you want to have lunch, dinner? Not lunch. And you say, yes, why not? I think most of us would say yes, very likely. And he's there only for this evening. The very likely response is, even if I don't have energy, I'm going to put out the energy. And Yogananda ji taught something, a principle. He said, the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. Let's put that to test again. Let's take a right hand in the front. And I would request you all to tense your right hand to the maximum capacity you can. Just to the most, to the point it's vibrating. Let's bring our arm forward and really tense the arm. Are we all tensing? Are we all tensing? Okay. Let's add a little more tension to what tension we're applying right now. Excellent. A little more tension. Okay, excellent. Just a little more. Okay, now let's just gently relax, 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 and relax. And you can put your arms down. Okay, now were we at max capacity in the beginning? We were able to apply more tension. We were able to add more energy. Why were we able to do that? Or but we thought we were at max already, because we were willing to add more energy, because we were receptive to add more energy. We were saying, yeah, I'll try it, I'll try it. And such is the principle which Yogananda ji taught: the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. Now, this principle can be applied in every aspect of our lives. Interestingly, on the physical level, we just did these exercises are very helpful physically when practiced. They take about 12 minutes, and they help us in our physical, basically, well being, I might say. They also help us on a spiritual level. But before that, I want to touch a little bit about how they help us on a mental and emotional level too. Very hard in this day and age, we all have the challenge. I don't know if it's a blessing, but we have the challenge to not be able to focus on one thing at a time. There's always a phone buzzing, or sometimes multiple phones buzzing, and this happening and that happening, and it's just so hard to concentrate on one thing at a time. How do we do that at all? Kriya Yoga and Yogananda ji gave us practices to be able to concentrate our mind. A very interesting story, or a couple of interesting stories come to mind, just to show how mentally and emotionally also we can stay steadfast. Yogananda ji used to say, when difficult times come, Meditation and Kriya Yoga will help you to be able to stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. I don't know about you, but I have had times in my life where I couldn't even stand unshaken when a disturbing email came through my inbox, where I was just like, how could this person write to me like this or write to me like that? And I'm just done with it. But with Kriya, with meditation, we can stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds, is what Yogananda said. And yes, it was wonderful to learn and listen to the story of Yogananda ji, and he was able to just arch his back and throw six people out. But what about you and me, who are not saints yet? We want to be saints, but we aren't there yet. Well, even for us, there is hope. I have a friend who, not a friend, I don't know her directly, but a friend through Master who lives in Israel. She had taken these practices, taken these techniques, and we know what the state of Israel has been over the years. Just 2 years ago, there was again a very tense situation, and they were all taking shelter in a bomb shelter, and somebody ended up clicking a photo of hers while she was practicing meditation. And very interesting to see that photo, because in a bomb shelter, you don't have an empty room. You have a filled up room, and everybody's anxious and nervous, and you don't know what's going to happen next. And she was just in the middle of this crowded room, sitting and closing her eyes and meditating, and you could see and feel the peace in her eyes. While the rest of the room was looking at their phone and just checking what is happening next. Now, I was just wondering, that could have been the scene even in a shopping mall as of date. Forget about a bomb shelter. Like, we are all looking at our phone all the time. Now, I'm not anti phone. I myself have two devices right on stage over here. But the point being that can we stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds? Yes. And these teachings help us to be able to do that. And not just Kriya Yoga, any true spiritual path which allows us to get back to our inner strength, to our inner core. It helps us to be able to stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. One more story, and then I want to actually read something from the autobiography of a yogi, which Yogananda ji spoke about. That wasn't my device. Okay, this is, I won't get into the details of which country, who, where, but there are countries in the world where women education is not looked upon. Mitesh was greeting everybody for Happy Women's Day, but in this particular country, women are not encouraged to be educated. In fact, women are punished if they try to get educated. Somehow these young high school girls, because they didn't have access to education through their cultural traditional schools in their country, they've somehow found access to Yogananda ji's and Swami ji's education for life teachings. These teaching education for life is a schooling system which teaches children how to go about your life, how to go about your education, and they found access to that online. But in this particular country, you can't even have access to it digitally, because you're constantly checked and monitored. So every once in a while, somebody can just crash through your house, well, terrorists, to say the least, and they can just throw everything in your house just to make sure and check you don't have books, you don't have digital things, you don't have anything in your house which gives girls access to education. Now this girl, basically, who is in touch with us, in contact with us, she had that happen twice, and she said it was extremely agitating, because these men would just come and they would be loud and violent, and they would be carrying guns, and they'll be threatening you. And well, that's a harder situation to be for any of us over here. But then she had learned something called the Hong Saw technique, which is a technique on the path of Kriya Yoga. And the next time these terrorists came and barged into the house and threw everything apart, just quietly and silently, she was observing the breath. She was practicing this mantra. She was just practicing peace and calmness in her heart and mind. And what happened next? She said they did what they had to do, just threw everything in the house, did a search, and they left, and I was untouched. So, with that powerful story, I actually want to do this reading about the breath. How many new friends of ours had said they had read the autobiography of a yogi? If you can show your hands. Great. And for those who haven't, I highly encourage you to read this book. And there are also audiobooks which you can use if you'd like to. Okay. Actually, this might be more convenient. Yogananda ji writes Kriya Yoga is an instrument through which human evolution can be quickened. Sri Yukteshwar explained to his students the ancient yogis discovered that the secret of cosmic consciousness is intimately linked with breath mastery. This is India's unique and deathless contribution to the world's treasury of knowledge. The life force, which is ordinarily absorbed in maintaining the heart pump, must be freed for higher activities by a method of calming and stilling the ceaseless demands of the breath. I would like to read just one more thing. Many illustrations could be given of the mathematical relationship between man's respiratory rate and the variations in his state of consciousness. A person whose attention is wholly engrossed, as in following some closely knit intellectual argument or in attempting some delicate or difficult physical feat, automatically breathes very slowly. Fixity of attention depends on slow breathing. Quick or uneven breaths are an inevitable accompaniment of harmful emotional states, fear, lust, and anger. The restless monkey breathes at the rate of 32 times a minute, in contrast to man's average of 18 times. The elephant, tortoise, snake, and other animals noted for their longevity have a respiratory rate which is less than man's. The tortoise, for instance, who may attain the age of 300 years, breathes only 4 times per minute. Now, of course, I'm not trying to encourage us just to artificially hold the breath in any way whatsoever, but Kriya Yoga, the pranayam, the techniques, allows us to have control through control over the breath, have control over our life force, over our prana, and as a result of that, also control over our spiritual evolution. Paramhansa Yogananda ji in this book, he also writes in the very same chapter which I was reading from, he said, a half minute, which is what it takes to practice one Kriya, when practiced properly, can give us 1 year of spiritual evolution. And I said, wow, my chartered accountancy had not taught me about this mathematics at all whatsoever. And I felt inspired to at least get started and try this out. But now I touched a little bit on the physical benefits, which I think we all felt at least to some degree when we did some of the exercises. I touched a little bit on also the mental and emotional benefits which we can have and how we can be steadfast and stay like strong in ourselves by practicing these practices. But then let's also talk about spiritual evolution because it is a slightly harder one to get. Because how can we decide like how can we judge ourselves about spiritual evolution? It's not like looking into the mirror, although looking into the mirror can help. If looking into the mirror has a smile, if the person in the mirror has a smile on his face, if the face is calm, I think there is something happening there. And if while looking in the mirror you have a grim face, not you, the person on the other side of the mirror, which is us, has a grim face, then something needs to be worked upon. Because in the autobiography again, Sri Yukteshwar, he says a sad saint is a sad saint indeed. Yeah, saints are very joyful. They are very happy. In fact, Yogananda ji had a tremendous sense of humor, which is not the purpose of this talk, so I won't get into it. But saints are not grim necessarily. So, spiritual evolution can be measured in terms of sometimes joy, peace, a certain lightness, as that chant which went, nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. But however, some other things which maybe, in the context of spiritual evolution, I wanted to touch on was, at least I used to isolate spiritual evolution with day to day progress or day to day growth in my life. I thought this is my corporate job and this is my spiritual life. I go and I yell at people and I get yelled at. That's one part of my life. And the other part of my life is I'm calm. I'm poised, I'm positive, I'm energetic, I'm enthusiastic. Now, very soon, one realizes that that is not true at all. They are part of the one big whole deal, you might say. And I have friends, and I'm sure Devarshiji will very soon also share many such examples where, in fact, by focusing on our inner spiritual life, we also find a lot of benefits in our practical day to day life. And maybe I'll just share a fun story and then I'll pass it over to Devarshiji. That as I was mentioning, as Mitesh was mentioning, I used to be a chartered accountant, and it has a lot of numbers and a lot of meetings and a lot of just back and forth and too much intellectual work. And I was once invited into a meeting where I had no business whatsoever. Just for the fun of it, they called me into this meeting. And that meeting went on and on and on and on and on. I mean, the on doesn't stop. And the discussion was just about two lines which were on a presentation. And I couldn't believe myself. Just for 2 minutes, they were discussing for the last 20 minutes, because one person would say, this is what I wrote, the other person would say, no, no, this is what you mean, no, 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 this is what I wrote, this is what you mean, no, this is not what I mean, that is what I mean. It went again repeatedly, and I was just paying no attention. I was just sitting quietly and meditating because I had no business to be in that room to begin with. Anyways, finally, after 20, maybe 25 minutes of back and forth, I thought, why don't I just read what is written on those on this projector screen and see if I understand anything. And I looked at the projector and I was like, oh my God, they've been arguing on this for the last 20 minutes. And I said, can I please interject? And they all looked at me as if, who are you? We can't figure it out in the we couldn't figure it out in the last 20 minutes. And you think you can just jump in and solve this whole mystery? I said, please, just give me 1 minute. And I'm not trying to boast in any way, but I'm just trying to say that how even in a practical world, having a focused and concentrated mind can save us a lot of time. Yogananda ji's chief disciple, Rajarshi Janakananda, in fact, his successor, was a multi-millionaire. He would sit in meetings, like he would get into meetings where people had been discussing or arguing about things for months at a time or weeks at a time. He would get in and he would give the solution like this. And I never understood how until I had this first-hand experience myself. And then I said, just let me speak for a minute. And I said, are you trying to say this and you're trying to say this? And both of them said, yes. And the meeting got over and we all went home. And that was the end of it, basically. But all I'm trying to say is let's not divorce spirituality with our day to day life. It is all part of one big whole. And spiritual teachings, any true spiritual teachings, including Kriya Yoga, will help us on physical level, mental and emotional level, and also in our own spiritual search and journey to find God and oneness with that cosmic consciousness. With that, I would like to invite Devashiji.
Thank you, Vasudeva, and thank you all for taking some time out on a Sunday morning. Happy Women's Day to everybody. And it's just a joy to be here talking about the transforming power of Kriya Yoga because I've seen it so many times over the years. As Mitesh was saying, I've been doing this every day, twice a day for 49 years. And I've seen so many people take up this practice and make miraculous changes in their lives. My own life is a testimonial to that. People see Kriya yogis of many years and they think, oh, they must have come this way, before Kriya Yoga. But my last photograph before Kriya Yoga was my mugshot. It's the photo that they take when you're getting arrested in the United States. That was before Kriya Yoga. This is after Kriya Yoga. And it's a miracle. People ask about miracles, and I say every morning I see a miracle when I look in the mirror, and I see the transforming power that Kriya Yoga plus the power of the Guru. It's all part of one comprehensive whole. What it really can do to you, and it's very practical in the way that it does it. When I first read Autobiography of a Yogi before I joined Swami Kriyananda at Ananda Village, I was the unpractical side of the family. And it's very interesting reading in that book because Paramhansa Yogananda, he was a devotional yogi. He was a yogi of divine bliss. His guru, Sri Yukteshwar, was a Gyan avatar, a yogi of wisdom. But really, he was more like a practical person. He was very scientific. He would read up the latest scientific knowledge of the day. He practiced a very scientific practice, Kriya Yoga and the science of yoga, really. And his training of young Yogananda was to get this sort of daft, head in the clouds bhakti yoga, to get his feet on the ground, because the science of Kriya Yoga is also an art. It's devotional yearning, it's divine love, but it's also scientific, and it works with scientific practices. This little exercise that Vasudeva led us in, walking in place and doing that affirmation, the whole science of yoga is based on universal realities and principles that are true for everybody. And the techniques of Kriya are more subtle than the exercise we did, but they have the very same practical impact on changing us. And we all felt that change of energy. We were in, some of us with our monks in the north, we went to a college the last 2 or 3 weeks in Patiala. And it was a place where Swami Kriyananda spoke in 1959. And we decided just it'd be fun to go and teach the students the way he did so many decades ago. And we did a workshop for the students, about 150 students. They were very, very receptive. And we did these exercises. And then the next week, we did the same sort of a similar workshop for the faculty, over 100 professors. And the principal said, now, when you teach to the professors, don't do any of that undignified jumping up and down stuff. Keep people in their chairs. And when I first came to Ananda Village, I was expecting this more, quote, yogic, deep, profound, dignified approach. I was expecting Swami Kriyananda to be like a Vedic scholar sitting in the forest under the tree, speaking low, slow, deep tones about deep spiritual truths, and all of us sitting quietly around him. And you see a lot of people on YouTube teaching this way today. And he blew my mind because it was just the opposite. He had energy, he had joy, he had enthusiasm. He gave lectures, he wrote music, he wrote these chants, he wrote children's songs. And walking in place and doing an affirmation with this very childlike enthusiasm. And what he brought was what Yogananda brought, which is to help people to change their level of energy first. Because until we can change our level of energy, we really can't change our consciousness. We are in an age of energy. The book, Kriya Yoga, Spiritual Awakening for the New Age, this new age is something that this great yogi scholar, Sri Yukteshwar, Yogananda's guru, he said that we have exited the dark materialistic time of Kali Yuga and have already entered the age of Dwapara Yuga. And I won't go into this whole science of the Yuga cycles, but Sri Yukteswarji said that most of the pundits in Kali Yuga, because it's not just a materialistic age, it's sort of a dumb age. Why? Because there's not much energy. And you'll see that people who have energy, they also have energy in the brain, and their enlightenment comes from energy, spiritual energy rising up to the brain. And so they forgot the true teachings and they got confused, and they're saying we're still in Kali Yuga, but it's obvious we're in a different age right now. Energy is everywhere. The pace of life is picking up. The whole concept of energy, we realize that there's more and more subtle forms of energy. People have more energy. In Kali Yuga, what did people drink? They drank alcohol to kill their energy, and now energy drinks. People want energy, and they know that more energy brings awareness, it brings enlightenment, it brings joy. You never see someone with really low energy, their head down, walking around saying, oh, I just feel so happy and I feel so much joy. And people who have energy feel joy and inspiration. Now, there is a catch in this age, and you see it with this increasing level of energy that is really the outcome of this age of Dwapara Yuga, is that if you don't know how to deal with this energy, it's very stressful. Is anyone else here stressed out by the world today and the pace of it and what's going on in the world and confusion and all these different things going on? And so in order to deal with this increased level of energy, they brought the science of Kriya Yoga. I talk about these things in the book, and an analogy that I use is that this age of energy, it's like a wave of energy is sweeping over the planet, a big giant tsunami wave of energy. Because I've spent so much time in California, I've enjoyed watching people on the ocean surfing on surfboards. And when you watch them, you can tell who's a really good surfer and who is just learning and just beginning, because a big wave will come. And the really skilled surfers, they put out energy, they have energy, strength, they paddle to get up to the relative close to the speed of the big wave, and then they stand up and they get carried by this very powerful wave and enjoy a really thrilling ride. You can see it in their faces. The less skilled surfers, they don't have the energy or the skill perhaps, and then sometimes the wave just crashes and smashes them over. And I've been smashed by waves in the ocean. Very, very powerful. And what Kriya Yoga teaches us is how not just to survive this wave of energy, but to utilize it for our own spiritual progress and ride that wave of energy to be able to succeed in life, to be able to be relatively free of stress and anxiety. And I'll talk more about that. And to be successful in a place like Mumbai. You know, a lot of the you know teachers of Kriya Yoga, because it's everywhere online now. Everyone is having visions of the great masters and saying this and that and making all these claims of Kriya Yoga, and you have to go to the Himalayas and this and that. But that's not what this line of masters came to bring. They came to bring these teachings of Kriya Yoga to practice them in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Los Angeles, in these great cities all over the world. Paramhansa Yogananda, when he was a young disciple of Sri Yukteshwar, and we read about this in Autobiography of a Yogi, he was getting a little weary of all the practical discipline his guru was giving him. And he had this spiritual fantasy in his mind that many people have of, I have to go up to the Himalayas and be with the Babas up there. That's the only way I can find God. And so he did. He ran away like a little boy. He ran away from home, ran away from his guru, and went into the mountains. And he sort of came back with chagrin to his guru after some time because he didn't find God up there in the mountains. He said, in fact, that the Babas that he met up there, they were all arguing over blankets and things. People were not finding God up there. Who was finding God? It was his guru, who was in the city of Kolkata at that time. And so Yogananda came back, and his guru taught him the fact that yoga and these practices of Kriya Yoga are meant for every person in this room to practice right where you are right now, in the city of Mumbai, in business, in art, in music, in science, in raising children, all these things. This is where we are to find God in this life, in this age, is where the energy is. And I love Mumbai because of it's just the highest energy place. You see it. But it's also intense. It's like there's a constant hum of energy happening, and it can be a little bit agitating at times because it's so strong and sort of never lets up. But that's the energy that is coming into this age that we can utilize for spiritual progress. Because you see the great saints, you see it with Yogananda, with that story that Vasudeva told about him. I saw it with Swami Kriyananda. These were people of extraordinary energy in terms of quantity of energy, but also energy control, learning how to focus that energy, learning how to direct that energy. And one of the ways, I'll talk about two ways that are just extraordinarily impactful for every one of our lives. One of them is something that Yogananda used to quote, a passage from the Gita, that these practices of Kriya Yoga can help us to overcome dire fears and colossal sufferings. And what that means is that these practices help us overcome agitated feeling and emotion, fear, suffering. All these things are agitated feelings of the heart. And so the practices of meditation done in the right way, working with the energy, the life force, it helps to calm agitated feeling and direct it towards refined divine feeling. And it takes fear and turns it into love. It takes anxiety and turns it into calmness. And it allows us, because of that, to be a cause rather than an effect, rather than being a victim of all this chaos and anxiety and agitation in the world. It helps us to impact the lives of people around us. It also helps us to deal with personal issues. I talk, again, I share a lot of personal experiences in this book. And I somehow have been given the karma to have to deal with a lot of things in my life, and chronic pain and loss of a spouse and all these many different things that are very real. These are real things that all of us have to deal with. And Kriya Yoga shows us, and I write in the book about how it helps us to turn negative feelings, grief, sorrow, pain, into something very positive, not by pushing it away, not by stuffing it, not by doing what most people do, which is self-medication with drugs or alcohol or going to a doctor and taking some pills, but by learning how to work with the feeling energy, with the emotions, and turn it into, again, divine feeling, developing compassion, kindness, strength, the ability to help others, especially the people that are close to us, the people that we love. So that's one extraordinarily impactful way and very real way that these practices help us. The other is that they help us with practical things in life. And I one of the blessings of being a Kriya Yogi in a community of Kriya Yogis is you see all types of people at Ananda Village, where I spent most of my life. You see people raising families. You see teachers, school teachers. You see music teachers. You see artists. You see business people. You see programmers. I have a friend who he was a very early developer of apps, and somewhere around 2010, he actually came up to me one day and said, I never had a cell phone at that time because at Ananda Village at that time we had no cell phone reception, so I was technologically disadvantaged in that way. And he tested me with this app that he was developing where you could just swipe your finger across the keyboard on the phone and it would magically put the words up before you were even finished. And he developed the app called Swipe, which became this huge thing that was sold millions and millions, and eventually was bought out. And he wasn't trying to become wealthy or anything. He was just trying to be creative and help people communicate. And I asked him, well, how did you develop this? Because he was the developer. He developed the programming. He developed the business. It was his invention, basically. And he said, whenever I have a problem with the programming or with the business, I meditate, I sit down, I practice Kriya Yoga, I pray to God as Divine Mother to help me with the solutions, and the answers come. And so Kriya Yoga is extraordinarily practical in these ways, in helping us in whatever way we need help with. And again, it makes people a better business person, a better parent, a better friend, a calmer person. And finally, it gives us divine joy. And this is what I saw with Swami Kriyananda, is that he was extraordinarily joyful. Growing up, I was more serious and maybe more in my head. And when I saw him, there was just joy, there was laughter, there was upliftment, because the states of divine bliss and joy that Yogananda talks about and writes about in his autobiography of a yogi, they take energy. Again, working with energy, with increasing our level of energy, learning to control that energy, these things really work. And I would highly recommend one thing. One of the things I write about in the book is how do you know if a teaching or a teacher is the right one for you? Because especially with YouTube and all these teachers making all these great claims, you don't know what to believe. And the biggest test is to meet and talk with the people who are practicing those things and are following those things. And so, it's not enough just for the teachers or the babas up here on the stage making these big grandiose claims about what Kriya Yoga can do for you. Talk to some of the people with the blue scarves here today who are Ananda volunteers and meet them, because you'll meet people who are in business, people who are raising families, people who may be artists or or yoga teachers or whatever. And you'll see that these things are very, very real, and they are very, very practical in how they work. And again, Kriya Yoga, it's a science, it's an art, and it's an extraordinary adventure. Swami Kriyananda talked about it as an adventure in self-awakening. And you think after 49 years, you know, how is it after 49 years of practice? It's just a continual adventure in joy, in seeing the effects on people. And one of the ways, and I talk about several Ananda friends of mine, people that I've been close to, who overcame extraordinary difficulties and tests with Kriya Yoga. And sometimes it's tests that bring people to the spiritual path. I just, people sometimes ask me, well, what does it take to have that intense yearning to take up a spiritual practice? And I say, well, work on cultivating that yearning and that yearning for freedom from stress and all these things. And if you have trouble doing that, come back in 10 years and suffer a whole lot more, and then come back, because by then you're going to want it more desperately. And why wait for that to come? Why not really start to practice these things? Because when we start practicing, let me see what time it is, or I should finish here. When we start practicing these things every day, it's almost like, I wouldn't say it's a bank account of calmness and peace. It's just a storehouse and a place that we can go within when difficulties come. I'll just end by something that is the other key to really that you see with Kriya yogis is overcoming something that Yogananda, Swami Kriyananda, called the reactive process. And this reactive process is simply the tendency to get caught up in the emotions when something happens to us. And so we go through life going up and going down. Good things happen. Oh, I'm happy today. Something good happened. Bad things happen. Oh, it's a bad day. And we just are going up and down. It's the waves on the ocean. And what the yogis teach is that this is a world of duality. It's never going to be just happy, happy, happy in an outward way. It's never going to just be good. The waves on the ocean, for every wave, there's a corresponding deep trough. But the yogi learns that underneath the waves is the calm ocean. And you learn through these practices, meditating every day, how to access that calm ocean, how to enter that state of calmness and depth by meditating. And so when you go out into your active life, that calmness is relatively still there. And when things try to push your buttons and cause a reaction with you, yeah, you learn over time. You think, oh God, I reacted and I'm supposed to be a yogi, and you try harder and you practice some more, and you learn over time how to be in that state of calmness and yet still be awake, alert, and intelligent and conscious, and able to be again an effect rather than a cause or a victim of the energy in this world. And so just highly recommend that you all take up this practice. I'll end with just one passage from Autobiography of a Yogi. Yogananda said it was the most important passage in the entire book, which is saying a lot. That book is amazing with the wisdom and the stories and everything in it. He said it was the most important passage in the book, and it was the words of his guru, Sri Yukteshwar, who said, "The vanished lives of all men are dark with many shames. Everything in future will improve if you begin making a spiritual effort now." And he said everything in future will improve. And this is what I've seen, because when your energy changes, your magnetism changes, you start attracting better opportunities, better friends, better experiences in life, better health. All these things happen when we start changing our energy and magnetism by making the right kind of spiritual effort. So I hope you can spend time here after talking to some of our people. I'm happy to sign any of the book that anyone purchases of this book. More of an excuse just to meet you and talk with you and meet some new friends here. And I think we do have some time just for some questions and answers. So there's a microphone to pass around. Vasudeva will come up and join me for this. So, anyone have a question? There's one over there.
Hello. Thank you so much for this enlightening session. My name is Reena. Always asking question feels like maybe it's a stupid one, but then I just thought I'll just ask you. So when you talk about energy, what is the benchmark of one normal human who's just busy in the normal life and maybe trying to keep something, look up to someone? So can it be, what is the benchmark for anyone? Is it the person who is an athlete and showing a lot of strength in the body in terms of energy, or is someone who is a yogi who's sitting in the mountains, and just being very calm and all? So what do we consider as our benchmark in terms of energy? What should we seek?
It depends what you want. So, if you want to be an athlete with strength, then hang out with those athletes who have strength, and you'll start to draw on that. If you want spiritual strength, spend time with those who have spiritual strength. With spiritual energy, I saw it again in Swami Kriyananda, who was in the middle of activity and was joyful, enthusiastic, positive, calm. And so that's where, we have a Sangha here, we have a center. And the joy is spending time with different people who are doing these things. And you will see, you'll meet people who have what you want. That's what drew me to Ananda. I visited Ananda Village in 1977. It was the first time I'd been there, and I met the people who were actually practicing it. And as soon as I met these people, I saw them and I thought, they have what I want. And they had joy. They were intelligent, they had clear minds, they were positive. And I knew it wasn't the water they were drinking. I knew it was the practices they were doing. And so I would say look for those people who have what you are wanting and practice what they're doing. And if it's what we have here, yeah, take it up and try it. If it's the more physical, as you were saying, to be an athlete, go to the gym and hang out with those people and draw on that and practice what they're doing too. And we have this opportunity in this age to look around and check things out and find those who can help us.
Yeah, I'll just add one more thought to that. I'll just share more along the lines of what Devashiji was also saying. On depends on what you want, and energy is intelligent, and it's not the best example, but just to share as an example, it's like, let's say, electricity. You can use it to turn this light on. You can use the electricity to turn the AC on. You can use the electricity to turn this microphone and amplify my sound. So similarly, energy is intelligent. You can use it to go deeper in your meditation. The same energy, if you learn to redirect it, you can use it to be a better physical athlete or improve your health, or if you want something to have a clear mind to be able to concentrate, you can use that energy to be able to do that. So depends on what we want, but then also energy is intelligent and we can direct it in time. And that's again the other thing about Kriya Yoga and this path of Kriya Yoga. It teaches us to navigate or ride that, and not ride the energy necessarily, but to direct the energy in which aspect of our life we want it to be.
Thank you so much.
Let's have another question. And I'll just add one more thing, that when we meditate, deep meditation has a lot of energy. It's not subconscious and vague and floaty and falling asleep. It is uplifting, it's clear, it can be ecstatic and thrilling and bright and light and all these things. And that, again, takes energy. But that's a more calm, uplifted energy and directed in the right way.
There's a question here.
Hello, my name is Rahul. Firstly, thank you. I've had a rough week, and just being in this room has made me feel much more calm already. We are talking about energies a lot, and while I've yet to start analyzing my own energies, I've had lived experience about how energies have influenced me in retrospect. And I've generally seen that living organisms energies are something I'm able to feel more closely, and I mean something I'm able to sense more. But I have a feeling that even non-living things in motion, particles, they also have some energies of their own, which I am not able to really wrap my head around. So just as an example, like I think most people may have the Gita in their homes and temples, in their miniature temples which they have in their homes, and I felt an energy from that book itself, which I'm not sure if it's something I'm feeling or it's in a placebo. But what is your thought on how non-living entities are also bringing forth energies which we can channel?
Well, in a way, we can say everything is conscious. Yogananda ji said that he remembered being a diamond. Well, he must have had some awareness to be a diamond. In fact, when Swami Kriyananda ji met Yogananda ji, he asked him, "How did you like my book, Autobiography of a Yogi?" And Swamiji, of course, was touched by it very deeply. And Yogananda ji said, "Well, it has my vibrations in it." And now, like, it has my vibrations, a book, at least when I read that, I didn't know how to comprehend it. So yeah, books, words, places, they do have vibration, they do carry energy. And since, as Devarshiji was saying, we live in an age of energy, in time we are becoming more and more aware of this energy. Now, it's true, sometimes our mind also does make up things, as you were talking about placebo, but I would rather trust the feeling than say, oh, just negate it. And in time, it's also helpful to test the feeling. Now, with certain things it's possible, but with certain things it may not be possible. But where you can test, oh, I'm sensing something over here or that, maybe check it out. Is there a way to cross verify it or check it out? But yeah, everything is conscious, everything is energy in that sense. Just one last thought, like Yogananda ji said, there is so much potential, or there's so much energy in even as less as 1 gram of flesh in our body, that it can light the city of Chicago with power for a whole week. Wow, that's a lot. And I don't know how to do it, but he did say that. So yes, energy is around, energy is everywhere. It's just a matter of us being able to tune into it and being aware of it more and more. So good question, thank you.
Another quick question up here. Oh, sorry.
It's a very unusual question, but I'm very curious to know that when they were singing bhajans, why that bhajan was I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying.
Good
Yes.
question.
Huh?
Yeah. No, it
No,
was
no.
I am thine, not dying.
No, it was sounding like dying.
I know
I'm so
it's
sorry.
thine.
I'm
I
sorry.
am thine.
Huh?
I'm yours.
Okay.
Thine.
Okay,
Thine.
okay.
I'm so glad you asked that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Neeraj.
Sorry, I just want to hear his question.
Yeah, hi, my name is Neeraj. My question is, some of us who work in a corporate life, like you've done before, as in there are different levels of energy that exist, right? And not all of them are uplifting. So is it sustainable to have a long-term career and at the same time, pursue the path of Kriya Yoga?
Yes, and we can talk to some of our own Kriya yogis here who have long-term careers in finance, in business, in banking, in all these areas. So talk to some of our people afterwards if you want to get their answer on that. I cannot answer that because I've been a daft yogi for the last 50 years, wandering the world teaching Kriya Yoga, and I haven't had that business life, but many people have. And if you're a parent, you can talk to parents who are practicing Kriya Yoga and see how that works. If you're an artist or a musician, same thing. So yeah.
I would say the same. And yes, it is possible, very much possible. In fact, you would find that your life as a Kriya Yogi helps you in your day to day practical corporate life. And it's hard to intellectualize it or say it much in the beginning. But again, actually speak to the ones who are doing it right now. I'll also be sounding otherwise a bit too fake because I kind of stepped out of that world a few years ago. Yeah.
I'll add one more thing. Yeah. I've had many jobs at Ananda over the years because we're doing everything at Ananda Village. Just you do it all. We don't hire people to do everything. And in the mid 1990s, they needed someone to do this new thing that was coming up. No one knew how to do it. They thought I had half a brain maybe to be able to do it. And so I was able to take on this job, and I knew nothing about it. And it was this new thing called the internet. And people at Ananda Village, we were living more in the country, and like, what is internet? What do you mean? Someone comes to my computer and sees me on what's going on here? And I dove into it, and I developed the very first Ananda websites and learned all the back end work with that, the the programming, the graphic design, the writing, everything, starting from scratch. And Kriya Yoga helped me because it not only raises your level of energy, but it brings more energy to the brain. Enlightenment is energy rising upwards spiritually, but also as intelligence to the brain. And so it really helps us to function in a much more clear and intelligent level and apply it in whatever is given us to do at that time. It was that for you, it's a life in business. For others, it's these other things. So it makes it Kriya Yoga sound like a panacea for all problems, but it actually is. But it's a tool. It's not a panacea. It's a tool that we work with, we develop, we practice, and it changes us.
So we have more questions, but one question of mine. Anything that we do has energy. Be working with energy, whether we are running, whether we are exercising, and that energy will bring about some general change, because you said energy is intelligent. How is Kriya different from any other form of exercise?
Kriya is far more than a breathing exercise. And I'll just touch on the science of Kriya because I think it's important to understand, which is that Kriya works with bringing and tuning into and being aware of and increasing the strength of spiritual energy in our deep astral spine called the Sushumna. And when we bring that energy up and down the spine, the astral spine, repeatedly, day after day, year after year, it starts to change us from the inside out. And Kriya changes us on the inside. And it changes our magnetism, our spiritual magnetism, our personal magnetism, because energy also increases magnetism. The greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. The greater the flow of energy, the greater the magnetism. And you'll see that people who have a lot of energy are very magnetic. People who have a lot of negative energy are unfortunately also very magnetic. And it's easy to be negatively influenced by such people, and they can be unpleasant to be around. But the reason why they affect us is because their energy level is higher than ours. And even though it's a negative energy, we get drawn into it. And over time, when our own inner magnetism and energy increase through day after day as a practice, Kriya is a practice, it's not a philosophy. It starts to change our own magnetism. So again, we're less influenced by negative energies, and we can become a positive influence on touching really everyone in our lives through that magnetism. Okay.
This question has been with me for a long time, and I seek answers to it from my own self, but the answer doesn't come. So, as you said, life is all about ups and downs, and I also have gone through a lot of ups and downs. Still, I realized coming to Ananda has given me calm, peace. Of course, I choose to be in calm and peace, as you were saying. But there are people who are suffering so much, like people around me, my relatives, my children, my friend. Uh, Sometimes there is chaos in their life, and of course, they don't listen to anybody's advice. Nor do I want to give them any advice because I know they are passing through their own grind. So my question is, say suppose there is a loss of money, or there is many issues. Should I, as an onlooker, rescue them or allow them to mitigate their karmas by going through the grind?
Okay. Um, well, I think first of all, we also have to be realistic of how much can we help. We also have our own fair share to work on, and that doesn't mean just ignore and forget about everybody else and don't help them, but it's a question of how receptive they are to receive the help. Really, if the person is receptive, then yes, we go and extend a hand, but not everything. We offer it and allow them to see if they want to receive help, and if the answer is yes, then we offer something more. But I don't think we are at a stage, and even great masters respect everybody's free will. If we are playing with delusion, they say, okay, fine, you seem to be happy playing in the mud puddle. Continue playing in the mud puddle until you ask for help. And then when we ask for help, they do offer us a hand and pull us out. So I think it's not yes or no. It depends on it depends situation to situation. If there is an opening to help, and if we are in a place where we can help, then yes, by all means. But if there is not an opening, and also we don't necessarily have the ability to help, then we can still help, but in the sense of offering prayers, offering just inwardly, offering light energy to them, and just waiting for the right time and opening to come for it. I'll just share a personal example which happened just to me a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago. My maternal grandfather had passed away just a week ago, and I have a whole family around my maternal grandfather, and everybody has not been very favorable of me, trying to be a meditator and living this bright corporate career, and how stupid could one possibly be to not be in the corporate world after being educated. So obviously nobody was ever receptive to me in these last 10, 12 years. But there was an opening when there is suddenly a loss in the family, and I just happened to be there for the funeral, and nobody spoke about meditation, nobody spoke about anything, but just on a very kind, gentle level of being in the presence of one another, of supporting one another, of just me offering my love to them. I found that suddenly they were receptive. Suddenly I was not the dumb guy who left his corporate career, but after all, this guy knows a little bit of what he is doing. And it's taken more than 10 years to even have this much opening. Now again, situations are different for everybody, but the point being, we have to be aware of where people are, how receptive they are, and not force help necessarily on anyone. So that was just one thought.
I'll just add briefly, we do have a duty to help our brothers and sisters. We're children of the same parents, and we're here to help each other. And those who have some joy, calmness, abilities, yes, we do have a duty to help others. But that help very often is not advice, it's not practical. Sometimes people just need a friend, someone to take them out for a cup of coffee. Just, it's not about the coffee, it's not about anything but just showing that someone cares about them, because there's such a lack of that in this world. And so I think these simple acts and gestures actually very often are an expression of something that people are needing and wanting, and can encourage them. So encouragement, positive energy, taking them out, just holding their hand for a bit. These things actually mean a lot for many people, for friends especially. So yeah, in practical ways, no, we can't help everybody and give all our money away, but we do have a duty to help others and look for those who need help and practice it. You'll see that over time you start understanding and learning how you can help people in these simple ways.
Hi, my name is Vinay Swaminathan. I'm also chartered accountant, just like you. I've been part of Ananda for the last couple of months. There's something that you were talking about, that half a minute of Kriya can really take you on the part of. Can you explain a bit more on that?
I said it, but I'll request Devashiji to explain more about it, and then I'll add.
Kriya is not magical in the way that it works. It's, Yogananda said that one Kriya, which takes, 25, 30 seconds roughly, is equivalent to a year of spiritual evolution and spiritual growth. But the fine print is that one Kriya done properly. And so it's a practice. It's not a magic pill. And when you practice it every day, you start to develop more understanding of it, more skill with it, and it starts to change you gradually from the inside out. And so it's not about that one Kriya that changes everything and solves all your problems. It's about this daily, day in, day out. It's like learning a musical instrument where you practice every day. And when you practice that musical instrument every day, you start to develop skill at expressing divine feeling and other qualities through playing that instrument and singing songs. And the difference with Kriya is that we're not all musically inclined, but we all have the same basic spiritual anatomy. And so Kriya is a universally effective tool for transforming our consciousness, giving us inner strength more and more over time, and giving us joy and calmness more and more over time, raising the level of energy up towards our brain more and more over time. And it's just a progression that we go through as we day in, day out practice it. And again, I just want to emphasize it's a practice. It's not a philosophy, it's not an idea, it's not a promise. It's a daily practice that transforms us. And I've seen it without exception. Everyone who practices it that way, they really, really change, miraculously so. And I've seen it thousands of times with Kriya yogis over the years.
Thank you, Shiji. I'll just add something which Swami Kriyanandaji said once in the context of Kriya Yoga. He said, Kriya is not mechanical in the results it gives. And so, especially for us who are of a numerical mind, it can be like make a ledger and 30 seconds and these years and that. I have not seen it necessarily add in that sense because, first of all, I don't even know what does 1 year mean of spiritual evolution and what does it even look like. However, in retrospect, when I look or when I introspect, it seems like, yeah, I've found ways or I've seen things happen in my life and in the lives of my friends where growth has been much more faster or even in an exponential way than it would have been had I not been doing what I have been doing or had my friends not been doing what they have been doing. So that's one way to look at it. The other way is also in the sense of Kriya really, what one thing it does is it internalizes our energy, which always is going out through our senses constantly from the time we are born. Our eyes, we are trying to look, learn to hold things, move around, talk. Just constantly, the energy is going outward through the senses. And through Kriya, which the senses which are usually meant to be engaged, we are reversing the flow of energy back into our spine and into our subtle channels in the spine. And over there, I would actually encourage you to read the chapter The Science of Kriya Yoga from Autobiography of a Yogi. And Yogananda ji writes about how each of the chakras, when we take the energy, go up and down the spine. We are touching on different subtle nadis, the chakras, as he describes them. In fact, he even says each of the chakras resonate with one of the planets outside, and by going up and down the spine, we are actually making a circle, and that's how one kriya is 1 year of spiritual evolution. But that becomes a little bit more technical in a sense, and in fact he even ends the chapter by writing technological yogi. However, he also said, which needs to be emphasized, he said kriya yoga plus devotion works like mathematics. It cannot fail. And the devotion part is extremely important when it comes to kriya, because it can be just the mind, it can be just the technique, but without the heart, it's just I don't know, a one-sided expression of what we are trying to do with our spiritual lives.
Uh, Ashwanya, we spoke about will and how greater the will, greater the flow of energy. Will, like you mentioned with an example, it's difficult to express that will to dishes as vis-a-vis meeting somebody you really want to meet. So again, while somebody who's learning to be a practitioner, one difficult day, uh, it's easier to chase pleasures because when you show will over there, the reward is instant. While when you're energizing or you're meditating, it might take time. So how to develop that will, which eventually leads to energy and for you to do better and chase things that are relevant as compared to get into the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. The putting will into pleasure is you get instant results. And the problem with the instant results is that, again, this world of duality has its ups and downs. And we know, I think we all know, that when we seek pleasure, the thrill is there, and then the hangover is there the next day, either emotionally or physically or in some way. That just the ups and downs. And after a point, you just get tired of that, and you want something that's sustainable and is a long-term uptrend and is true. And is, again, this is getting underneath the waves of the ocean, and it's not subconscious. It can be exhilarating and joyful. And so one of the ways that for me is just being around people who've been doing it for many years. And I get to see them, and I get to see what the results are. And if I'm getting caught up in, desire or attachment, like in my early years at Ananda, yeah, going around and being around those people remind me, tell me about it, or just watching them and seeing them, and seeing the results reminds me that, oh yeah, I need to keep doing this, and I'll be like those people and have joy no matter what is happening. So it's a matter of redirecting energy too, because we can't suppress desire. We want to redirect that energy towards a new desire of something, that desire for God, especially, really, which is not sort of the desireless desire, as Yogananda called it, and the desire to change ourselves in those better ways.
So we will have time for one more question. In case there are more questions, there is an email ID which we will share with you, and then you can send that question across an email. And also there will be a book signing, so you may get your moment during that time also to ask questions. So is there any other question? One? Okay.
Good evening, sir. So last year, Feb, I have two things. One is an experience to share, and one is a question. So I'll ask the question first. So I have been doing this. I've been reading God Talks with Arjuna by Paramhansa Yogananda when my life was at a lower phase, wherein I was on some duty on purpose, wherein my family is somewhere. I was isolated place. I was actually sailing and all. So that is a point where I felt like, devoting my time for spirituality, and I was at sea for around 45 to 60 days. And this book, I was reading it every day for an hour, and I was meditating for an hour, which I never did. In fact, 5 to 10 minutes was very difficult for many of us, but this book made me, meditated for longer time, especially the YSS meditation apps. So after the sailing, once I am again started interacting with the environment and the normal life, I lost everything. I could not, meditate everything and all. Maybe because there are a lot of distractions, and because at sea the distractions were less, only the duties and the isolated living that we used to have. That is one. And second thing, but after that experience, I manifested few things like, few of the things which have came true this year. In fact, in the past few months, that is a power of meditation. I just wanted to share with everyone. Just a 1 month of meditation had given me great results, which I had been thinking of many things in life. But the point is, the moment I'm touching the land, or the moment I'm touching the, the environment which you are staying in, I'm, forgetting instantly, and forgetting whatever meditation and all I did at sea, and prone to the distractions is what is happening to me. The question that I have is, what are the few elements at the home or at the living space that we have that you can change, so that you are always connected to the thing, and makes you realize that you need to do this meditation every day or so?
Yeah, that's a good question, is how to maintain a practice over the long term. And we have really good teachers here in Mumbai. I would really, really highly recommend taking the level 1 meditation class that they teach here in Mumbai, because the class is very practical and it touches on that exact issue. How do I make this an everyday part of my life, a habit? Habit is powerful. Habit can make us go downhill, it can make us go uphill. But the habit of meditation, creating a space where you can meditate every day, where there's a vibration there, having the support of others, having the right tools of meditation, rather than just, oh, I'm meditating and closing my eyes and calling it meditation, but actually having the scientific approach of techniques of meditation and developing a strong daily sadhana, even in the midst of a busy life. That's what these classes here are really all about training us and giving tips on how to do exactly what you're asking about.
Thank you very much. Jai Guru, great souls. It's been an absolute joy and pleasure to have Devarshiji and give a vote of thanks to Devarshiji and Vasudeva for this, and express our profuse gratitude for the same. These These talks were really, you gave us the soul food of the serene mystic peace which the soul craves for of Kriya. And we are really indebted for that. And on behalf of every earnest seeker and Ananda Sangha Mumbai, we express our profuse gratitude for the same. I would like to now invite Bhavna to give a small token of appreciation to Devarshiji. Invite Priya to give small token to Vasudeva. And also we would like to
Beautiful.
express
Just showing everyone.
our thanks to Mr. Milind Tavde, who is the Deputy Director, Civil and Exhibitions at Nehru Center, who has been with Nehru Center from its very inception. Is he around, Mr. Ta? Yeah. Would you like to invite you here? And and Sanjot could. Yeah.
Spiritual, religious, or political functions here. But I'm very much a fan of Paramhansa Yoga ji. I've read his book in Marathi, which is my mother tongue, when I was very small. Not have got through the depth of that philosophy, but I would like to read again and be with it. I'm very much proud to have this function here in Nehru Centers especially. Welcome you all. And all the best. Thank you.
Like to thank each and every volunteer, sevak who has been instrumental in making this happen, and of course to this wonderful audience who have been patient with us. Thank you very much and have a great day ahead.
Yes, and the gratitude continues to you, Swami Devashi and Brahmachari, Vasudev, and to all of you. We have certain announcements now. Swami Devashi and Brahmachari Vasudev spoke about the books. Firstly, the Kriya Yoga, as we all can see it here. Kriya Yoga, Spiritual Awakening to the New Age. And Swami Devashi ji has written this book. We're going to have book signing right here. So we are going to get the table here, and Nyaswami Devashi ji is going to sign the book, and we have very limited copies. So please come up and take your own signed copy from Nyaswami Devashi. And after that, they spoke about autobiography of a yogi. So all of you need to go in the next hall, which is Hall of Varley. We have our bookstall. We have our boutique stall there. And we have many other offerings like Ananda Yoga, Ananda Healing Prayer Table, Education for Life, which has also been mentioned, Sharing Nature, and we have Ananda Youth Table also there. And we have a very beautiful table, which is called Yogananda's Flower Essence Table. So you all must go in the next hall and visit to each and every table. And most importantly, Swami Devashi ji spoke about, and there the gentleman also spoke about how meditation has helped them. And many of us here, we are, as disciples of Paramhansa Yogananda, are meditating the techniques that he has been given us. So with that, what we are trying to say is on 15th of March, we are going to have Learn to Meditate session at our Worldly Center. And right now, we are doing spot registrations. So you all can go in the next room, or you can meet all our sevaks who are wearing the scarves, blue or yellow, and ask them where to register for Learn to Meditate class. So thank you all, and we wish you all a wonderful, blessed day ahead. Thank you. Yes, book signing is going to be here. So you need to come. Let's make a line here and we purchase the book and get it signed from Swami Devashi.